Well, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another exciting edition. Well, maybe it's not so exciting edition of BOOKWARD BOUND, my 301-day journey, quest, whatever you want to call it, from I should really do this to done. And what is that done? Well, that done is the creation of a brand new book by January 1st of 2021. That actually has to be done the day before on December 31st, 2020, because on the first of the year, I'm going to be uploading press-ready files, PDF files, to Amazon's Kindle Direct publishing platform, where I will be self-producing, self-publishing a brand new book that's called NONFICTION BRAND, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. That's the title of the book, and that's the book I'm working on every night for 301 nights. In fact, tonight is night number 217. Yeah, literally, I have gone live via live stream on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitch for 217 consecutive days, with the exception of 2 where I had Lyme disease and was really, really sick. But what happened is that by coming down here working on the book every single night, I'm actually making significant progress. In fact, the last time I compiled the book to see how many pages I actually had for a 6x9 book, it was somewhere north of 251 pages. And since my goal is 250 pages, I think I'm in pretty good shape, especially since I've got all of October and all of November to write the book. And then in December, I'm going to spend that entire month editing it and formatting it and making sure everything's cool so that I can seriously put up completely ready files to Amazon's Kindle Direct publishing space on January 1st of 2021. And let me tell you, it's not an easy task, my friends, to do this, especially when you're doing it on your own. Yeah, I'm kind of that guy. A little bit too much of, I want it to be done exactly my way, even to the point of stupidity. But frankly, that's the way I roll, so that's how it's going to be. And I feel really, really bad about that, but not really. However, every night I come down here, and some nights I write, some nights I edit, some nights I do some design work or outlining, whatever. Tonight I'm actually going to do something else, because earlier today, I worked on my Nonfiction Brand podcast episode that will be premiering on Monday, because the Nonfiction Brand podcast comes out every single Monday, and typically I'll edit the Monday episode on a Saturday preceding, and then do all the work that's necessary to have it ready to go live at 3 a.m. on Monday morning. Well, to be honest, my birthday's coming up, and we're kind of celebrating it early because I've been able to get my daughters back into town from college and stuff like that. So I actually edited the episode today so that I can be freed up on the weekend a little bit. So what does that mean? That means I can actually do something that I've started to do, not 100% complete yet, but I've started to actually have the episodes transcribed, but I'm not doing it via a human transcription. I'm using a very cool program called Descript, and which is associated with Descript.com. Now, this that you see before you is the Apple or macOS version client of Descript.com, and you can see here that it takes the actual audio file and then transcribes it via AI, and they claim 95% accuracy. Yeah, it might be 95%. I'm not so sure about that, but I will say this: it's pretty darn good, and it's a whole lot better than spending 2 to 4 hours transcribing an episode. So I'm all about trying to do this. And so what I'm going to do right now is actually open up the podcast file that will be episode 212 or 112 with Andy Crestodina, and I'm going to take that MP3 file and drag it on over here because Descript will take it from there. And again, it's pretty darn cool if you ask me. And it's down here. I can say detect speakers. I know there are 2 speakers, and then hit transcribe, and bada bang. That's exactly what's happening. The AI is going to grind its way through the entire podcast, which is about 23, 24 minutes or something like that. And it will come back in a minute asking me to identify the speakers. And we'll deal with that when it happens, when it actually gets there. But right now, what Descript is doing, and this is just one of the features that Descript can do, which is very cool. It's actually working its way through the podcast and transcribing it, and it does a pretty good job. So right now it's saying multiple speakers detected, identify speakers. I click on that, and then
yeah. Well, I love that formulation.
all right,
That
well,
every
that's me.
Well, there's a writing thing about being provocative, or at least not.
And that's Andy Crestodina. So I identify those speakers, and when this is done transcribing, you're going to see, boom, oh look, there's me. Then down here, there's Andy. And this makes it really easy to go through the entire transcript very quickly. And I have not done this yet, but my plan is to take all these files and post them on my website, because then it's HTML, scrollable, crawlable copy. And here's the killer application. Because I've got a podcast, yay, that's great. But now I take the words from that podcast and turn them into crawlable text on my website. What's that going to do to my search ranking in a whole lot of different areas, especially personal branding or marketing or social media or any number of things? I'm going to be so much more rankable because all of these words that and phrases that I've been talking about in 112 podcast episodes will now be attributed to me via my website. Killer application, right? Anyway, that's what I'm doing with I've got, can I drag these down? Can I move that down? I want to move it. All right, I can't. Anyway, but I've got episode 111. Sorry. I actually should show you this. So here are all the transcripts I have so far, and Andy Crestodina's episode 111 is up here, and then episode 112 is down here. And I've got it all. And the cool thing is, too, I can save it as an SRT file that I can associate with the audio file on YouTube or other places that use SRT files for time code and things like that. Very cool. And not that expensive. You can try it out for free. And by the way, I'm paying for this, so it's not like they're paying me. I wish they would. By the way, if you're watching from Descript.com, I would be happy to take your money or even get a free subscription. I would appreciate that, and I'll pimp you guys out like a crazy man. But this allows me to capture the words and then pull those words into my website and into my book. And that's my bigger point right here. I've actually got a section about Andy Crestodina earlier in the book. Where the heck is it? No, I can always look it up. With a name like Crestodina, it's always better with data. Yeah, I've got a whole section, and it's 1,300 words. I don't necessarily think I need to add anything to it. Although, let me think about what we talked about. Blogging. It's Bloggy Report. Yeah, I've captured a lot of what he's already said. You can see this entire quote here came from episode 111 of the podcast. Yeah. Brand podcast, get rid of that. So I think I'm cool with Andy for now. But I did want to make sure that you guys saw Descript, because I like Descript. I like Descript quite a bit so far. And I think right now I'm paying $15 a month for up to 10 hours of transcription and other stuff that I can do. Like, I currently don't create my audiogram for the podcast in Descript, but my understanding is I could if I wanted to. But I'm not doing that because I've been using headliner.com or headliner.app. That's what it is. Headliner.app forever to create my audiograms. What's an audiogram, you might ask? Well, let me show you. Hold on. Opening up podcast. Okay, so this is episode 111. This, my friends, is an audiogram.
This week on the Nonfiction Brand podcast.
So every time I have that feeling like, wow, am I really should I share this one? I don't want to talk about this. I mean, it's like the most valuable thing I've ever learned. That's when you're on the right track. That's the moment. That's exactly the thing that you should publish, is like that thing that you think is a secret, which, by the way, isn't a secret anyway. It's already out there. Someone else has published it. Just go search for it. You'll find a version of it probably on YouTube. Content marketing is a test of generosity, and the most generous marketer or brand wins. Think of it that way. You should be in a rush. We should be hustling to give away all the best advice we have, because that's our only currency. That's the only chance of catching any sort of attention or loyalty. That's the game we're actually playing, is to win a generosity contest.
Okay, so that's what an ideogram looks like, and you can see how usable that is on all sorts of social media channels. I use it on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and even Twitter in different ways to promote my podcast, and it actually works. The beauty of it too is that I take that poll quote that he was actually saying, and then I turn it into content within the book itself. So you can see right here, everything you just heard is right here. It's already out there. Someone else has published it. Just go search for it. You'll find a version of it probably on YouTube. So it's kind of that marketing is a test of generosity, and the most generous marketer or brand wins. That's exactly what he said, and I can have it in my book. How cool is that? So that's some stuff that is illustrating my central concept of this section, but it's Andy's words. So I'm getting the benefit of his wisdom. I'm making him look great in the book. He's undoubtedly going to want to promote himself by being in the book, so he may help my book get out there a little bit bigger out there. Win, 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 win. Because that's the whole thing. The most generous brand wins. Well, my personal brand is about putting in the extra work to create a podcast. And by the way, every podcast episode probably takes a minimum of 10 hours total to do, with everything involved, from scheduling to posting. That's a lot of time. I mean, think about it. You got 40 hours in your work week and you spend a quarter of them working on a podcast. Yeah, that's what you do, especially when what you want to do is make someone else look great so that you can look good. And that, my friends, is an absolute fundamental of personal branding, and especially if you want to personally brand yourself as what I think of as a nonfiction brand. Something that is totally true to who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and is demonstrable, that you can literally demonstrate that the brand that you say you are is the brand that you actually are. For me, there's no better platform than a podcast. And, by the way, live streams like this. Now, I'm not anywhere near as good at live streaming as perhaps I've been able to build muscles on when it comes to podcasting. But by coming down here and working on the book every single day for 217 days, believe me, that's going to the gym a whole lot of time, and a whole lot of muscle and a whole lot of capability is being built up. So again, I took on this to make sure that I kept on target when it comes to finishing this book. But one of the big benefits of doing this way is actually burning out my fear of looking into a camera and acting like he's a good friend of mine and saying, "Hi, how are you? Welcome Do that long enough, and all of a sudden you don't have fear of camera or fear of the camera anymore. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So that's it for me tonight. Thank you for watching, and thank you for keeping me honest by forcing me to come down here and work on this book, even when I'm kind of celebrating my birthday with my family upstairs. That's why I'm cutting this short. Hate to give you short shrift, but it is my birthday coming up, so. Anyway, I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand Podcast, which comes out every single Monday. This episode that I edited today, episode number 112, features my good friend Andy Crestadina of Orbit Media Studios in Chicago, Illinois. Smart guy, always leaves me with a lot of stuff to think about and chew on. And that's exactly what I've been doing ever since I talked to him. You can get the podcast wherever you find quality podcasts for free. And if you like the podcast, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to it. Refer it to other people. But most of all, can you do me a solid? Most of all, give it an honest review wherever you get your podcasts. Could be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. That's brand new or fairly new. And Stitcher and just about any place that you get podcasts for free. So check it out for sure. That's it from me tonight. I will be here, believe it or not, tomorrow night as well. So there. And until then, theme music, take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.